Negative thinking can be one of the biggest obstacles to success and happiness. It traps us in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and discouragement, preventing us from taking the necessary steps to achieve our goals. When we allow negative thoughts to dominate our minds, we start to view challenges as insurmountable and opportunities as threats, which leads to inaction and frustration. The more we dwell on these negative thoughts, the more we reinforce the belief that we are incapable of success, which only deepens the cycle of negativity. This mental barrier can significantly impact various aspects of our lives, from personal relationships to professional endeavors. In relationships, negative thinking can cause us to misinterpret others' actions, assume the worst in situations, and create unnecessary conflict or distance. At work, it can limit our creativity, productivity, and willingness to take risks, leaving us stuck in a comfort zone that hinders growth and advancement. Furthermore, constant negative thinking can take a toll on our mental health, leading to stress, anxiety, and even depression. However, the good news is that negative thinking can be conquered. With the right strategies and mindset, it is possible to break free from this destructive pattern. One of the most effective ways to combat negative thinking is by becoming aware of it. This requires mindfulness and self-reflection to recognize when negative thoughts begin to surface. Once we are aware of these thoughts, we can challenge them by questioning their validity and reframing them in a more positive or neutral light. In addition to mindfulness, adopting a growth mindset can help shift focus away from negative thinking. A growth mindset encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for learning and development, rather than as threats to our success. When we embrace the idea that failures and setbacks are part of the journey, we become more resilient in the face of adversity. This resilience helps us bounce back from setbacks more quickly and prevents us from falling into the trap of self-doubt and discouragement. Another powerful tool in overcoming negative thinking is gratitude. By intentionally focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we can gradually rewire our brains to prioritize optimism over negativity. Regularly practicing gratitude, whether through journaling or simple reflection, helps shift attention away from what's going wrong and toward what's going right. This practice not only improves our mood, but also strengthens our overall sense of well-being, making it easier to maintain a positive outlook. Surrounding ourselves with supportive and positive people can also play a significant role in countering negativity. Before you can kill negative thinking, you need to understand where it comes from. Often our thoughts are shaped by past experiences, fear of failure, or external influences like societal pressures. These sources can deeply impact how we perceive ourselves and the world around us, embedding negative thought patterns that seem automatic over time. For instance, experiences of failure or rejection from the past can leave lasting scars, making us more likely to doubt our abilities and expect negative outcomes in future situations. Fear of failure, on the other hand, can make us overly cautious, preventing us from taking risks or stepping out of our comfort zones because we're already anticipating a negative result. External influences, such as societal expectations and the opinions of others, can also play a major role in shaping negative thinking. From a young age, we are often conditioned by society to meet certain standards or conform to specific ideals. Whether it's the pressure to achieve success, maintain a particular appearance, or live up to social norms, these external forces can create a constant undercurrent of anxiety and self-doubt. When we fail to meet these expectations, we may internalize a sense of inadequacy, which feeds into a cycle of negative self-talk. Take a moment to reflect on when you are most prone to negative thinking. It is important to pay attention to the specific triggers that bring about these negative thoughts. Is it during moments of stress, when your emotions are heightened and you feel overwhelmed by external demands or challenges? Stress can magnify negative thinking because it puts us in a reactive state where we're more likely to focus on what's going wrong instead of finding solutions. Or perhaps it occurs after receiving criticism, whether it's constructive or harsh, as feedback can make us feel vulnerable or inadequate, especially if we're already struggling with self-esteem. Negative thinking can also arise when comparing yourself to others. In today's world, with social media and constant exposure to the highlights of other people's lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. When we compare our own journey to someone else's success, achievements, or lifestyle, it can create feelings of envy, inadequacy, and frustration. This habit of comparison distorts our perception of reality because we are often comparing our worst moments to someone else's best, which only fuels the belief that we're not enough. Identifying the root cause of negative thinking is the first step in breaking the cycle. Once we understand what triggers these thoughts, we can start to address them head-on, whether it's by practicing self-compassion, challenging our inner critic, or setting boundaries to protect ourselves from external pressures. By recognizing and acknowledging these sources, we empower ourselves to take control of our mental landscape instead of allowing negative thoughts to control us. Negative thoughts are often exaggerated and not based on reality. They can arise from assumptions, misinterpretations, or fears that are out of proportion to the actual situation. Whenever you find yourself in a negative thought pattern, it's essential to take a step back and critically evaluate these thoughts. Ask yourself questions like, is this true? Is this helpful? What evidence do I have to support this belief? By engaging in this type of self-inquiry, you create space between yourself and the negative thought, allowing for a more rational and objective assessment of the situation. Many times you'll realize that your fears or worries are blown out of proportion. The mind tends to amplify negative outcomes, leading us to believe that the worst-case scenario is not only possible but inevitable. This is especially common when we are under stress or feeling insecure. Our thinking becomes distorted and we focus only on what could go wrong, ignoring any positive outcomes or potential solutions. By challenging these thoughts, you begin to dismantle the hold they have on you. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be good at this," pause and ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support that claim more often than not? There is little to no real evidence backing up these negative statements. If you've ever made progress, however small, that thought becomes baseless. Even the smallest improvements or successes provide proof that you are capable of learning and growing, contradicting the idea that you will never succeed. It's important to remind yourself of your achievements, no matter how minor, and use them as a counterbalance to the negativity that creeps in. In addition to questioning the truth of your negative thoughts, it's equally important to assess whether they are helpful. Negative thinking rarely serves a constructive purpose. While it may feel as though dwelling on your fears will help you prepare for or avoid failure, it often does the opposite. It paralyzes you and prevents you from taking positive action. Instead of allowing these thoughts to dictate your decisions, shift your focus to what you can do to improve the situation or overcome the challenge at hand. Recognizing and celebrating your progress is a key part of breaking free from negative thought patterns. Each time you challenge a negative thought with evidence of your past achievements or capabilities, you weaken its influence over you. Over time, this practice will build a stronger sense of confidence and resilience, helping you maintain a more positive and productive mindset. Once you challenge negative thoughts, the next step is to replace them with positive affirmations. This shift in focus is crucial because simply identifying and dismantling negative thoughts isn't enough. You need to actively replace them with empowering, constructive beliefs. Instead of dwelling on what you can't do, begin to concentrate on what you can do. This process reframes your mindset, allowing you to approach challenges with confidence rather than self-doubt. For instance, if you find yourself saying, "I'll never succeed," pause and replace it with, "I am capable, and I will find a way to succeed." This shift in language has a powerful effect on your mental state. Words have the ability to influence your emotions, behavior, and overall perception of yourself. By repeating positive affirmations, you begin to rewire your brain to focus on solutions rather than problems, nurturing a mindset that seeks opportunities instead of obstacles. This practice not only counteracts the damage caused by negative thinking, but also strengthens your belief in your own abilities. At first, using positive affirmations might feel awkward or strange, especially if you're used to being overly critical of yourself. Self-criticism can become a deeply ingrained habit, making it difficult to accept kinder and more supportive thoughts. However, just like any new habit, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, positive affirmations start to feel more authentic as they gradually reshape your inner dialogue. It's important to be patient with yourself during this process. Changing long-held patterns of negative thinking doesn't happen overnight, but consistent repetition of positive affirmations can have a profound impact. Each time you affirm your strengths, capabilities, and potential, you are reinforcing a new narrative about who you are and what you're capable of achieving. This new narrative becomes a guiding force, helping you approach life's challenges with resilience and optimism. Use these affirmations as a tool to reshape your inner dialogue, whether it's in moments of stress, self-doubt, or even during daily routines. Positive affirmations can serve as a mental reset, pulling you out of negative spirals and helping you refocus on growth and possibility. It's not just about feeling good in the moment, it's about gradually transforming how you view yourself and your ability to overcome obstacles. Mindfulness is a powerful tool to combat negative thinking. It involves being fully present in the moment without judgment or attachment to thoughts that arise. In a world where we are constantly pulled in different directions, whether by our own worries, fears, or external distractions, mindfulness offers a way to ground ourselves. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts as they come and go without letting them dictate your emotions or actions. This practice encourages a state of awareness where thoughts are merely thoughts, not definitive truths or reflections of your worth. One of the key aspects of mindfulness is that it helps you step out of the automatic cycle of negative thinking. Instead of letting your mind wander to past mistakes or future anxieties, you train yourself to focus on the present moment. Often, negative thoughts stem from dwelling on things that have already happened or worrying about what might go wrong in the future, neither of which you can control. Mindfulness teaches you to redirect your attention to what is happening right now, what you can see, hear, feel, and experience in the present. This simple shift in focus can drastically reduce the power of negative thoughts, helping to diffuse their emotional impact. When a negative thought arises, mindfulness encourages you to acknowledge it without engaging or getting entangled in it. You observe it from a distance, recognizing it as just a mental event, not something that defines you or your reality. Instead of spiraling into a loop of rumination where one negative thought leads to another and another, you bring your attention back to your breathing, your physical sensations, or the task in front of you. This practice of redirecting your focus helps break the cycle of negativity and prevents your mind from spiraling deeper into those thoughts. Over time, this ability to disengage from negative thinking becomes second nature, allowing you to respond to challenging situations with more clarity and composure. Mindfulness meditation can be especially helpful in cultivating this skill. By setting aside just 5 to 10 minutes a day to sit quietly, focus on your breath, and gently observe your thoughts without judgment, you train your brain to become more aware of its habitual patterns. The practice doesn't require you to stop thinking altogether. That's nearly impossible. Instead, the goal is to notice when your mind starts to drift into negative thinking and gently guide it back to the present moment. This process strengthens your ability to remain calm and centered, even when faced with stressful or overwhelming situations. As you practice mindfulness meditation regularly, you will create more mental space between your thoughts and reactions. This space allows you to pause and choose how to respond, rather than reacting impulsively based on fear or negativity. Over time, mindfulness cultivates a sense of inner peace and resilience, enabling you to approach life's challenges with a clearer, more balanced perspective. Even in the midst of difficulties, mindfulness empowers you to stay grounded, preventing negative thoughts from taking over and clouding your judgment. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your thoughts. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the spaces you occupy will have an influence on your mental state. If you surround yourself with negative influences, whether that's negative people, toxic social media, or constant exposure to pessimistic news, it's easy to get caught up in a negative mindset. These external factors can subtly seep into your thinking, reinforcing feelings of doubt, frustration, or hopelessness. The more you're exposed to negativity, the more likely you are to internalize it, which can make it harder to break free from negative thought patterns. To counteract this, it's crucial to make a conscious effort to build a positive environment around you. Start by surrounding yourself with people who encourage and support you. Positive, uplifting individuals can act as a buffer against negativity, providing a sense of optimism and motivation. Their encouragement and constructive feedback can help you see possibilities where you might only see challenges. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, being around people who believe in your potential can have a profound impact on your self-perception and outlook. In addition to cultivating supportive relationships, it's important to be mindful of the content you engage with, especially on social media. Social media platforms can often become a breeding ground for comparison, envy, or anxiety, especially when you're constantly exposed to others' highlight reels or negative commentary. To create a more positive digital space, follow accounts that inspire rather than discourage you. Curate your feed with content that promotes growth, learning, and self-improvement. This could include motivational speakers, educational channels, or even accounts that focus on mental well-being. The key is to fill your online environment with messages that align with the mindset you want to cultivate. Beyond social media, consider the activities and habits that shape your day-to-day life. Choose activities that uplift your mood and nurture your spirit. This might mean reading books that inspire you, whether they're biographies of people who have overcome adversity, self-help books that provide practical guidance, or fiction that brings you joy. Engaging in creative hobbies or pursuing activities that energize you, like listening to music, exercising, or spending time in nature, can also shift your mindset from negative to positive. These activities not only serve as a break from negative thinking, but also promote a more fulfilling, balanced lifestyle. It's important to recognize that positivity is contagious. When you actively surround yourself with uplifting energy, it becomes easier to maintain a positive mindset, even in the face of challenges. The people, content, and activities you engage with regularly contribute to a cycle of positivity that feeds into your thoughts and behavior. By intentionally creating an environment that fosters growth, optimism, and encouragement, you set the foundation for a more resilient and positive mindset, one that can help you navigate difficulties with grace and determination. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your thoughts. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the spaces you occupy all have an influence on your mental state. If you surround yourself with negative influences, whether that's negative people, toxic social media, or constant exposure to pessimistic news, it's easy to get caught up in a negative mindset. These external factors can subtly seep into your thinking, reinforcing feelings of doubt, frustration, or hopelessness. The more you're exposed to negativity, the more likely you are to internalize it, which can make it harder to break free from negative thought patterns. To counteract this, it's crucial to make a conscious effort to build a positive environment around you. Start by surrounding yourself with people who encourage and support you. Positive, uplifting individuals can act as a buffer against negativity, providing a sense of optimism and motivation. Their encouragement and constructive feedback can help you see possibilities where you might only see challenges. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, being around people who believe in your potential can have a profound impact on your self-perception and outlook. In addition to cultivating supportive relationships, it's important to be mindful of the content you engage with, especially on social media. Social media platforms can often become a breeding ground for comparison, envy, or anxiety, especially when you're constantly exposed to others' highlight reels or negative commentary. To create a more positive digital space, follow accounts that inspire rather than discourage you. Curate your feed with content that promotes growth, learning, and self-improvement. This could include motivational speakers, educational channels, or even accounts that focus on mental well-being. The key is to fill your online environment with messages that align with the mindset you want to cultivate. Beyond social media, consider the activities and habits that shape your day-to-day life. Choose activities that uplift your mood and nurture your spirit. This might mean reading books that inspire you, whether they're biographies of people who have overcome adversity, self-help books that provide practical guidance, or fiction that brings you joy. Engaging in creative hobbies or pursuing activities that energize you, like listening to music, exercising, or spending time in nature, can also shift your mindset from negative to positive. These activities not only serve as a break from negative thinking, but also promote a more fulfilling, balanced lifestyle. It's important to recognize that positivity is contagious. When you actively surround yourself with uplifting energy, it becomes easier to maintain a positive mindset, even in the face of challenges. The people, content, and activities you engage with regularly contribute to a cycle of positivity that feeds into your thoughts and behavior. By intentionally creating an environment that fosters growth, optimism, and encouragement, you set the foundation for a more resilient and positive mindset, one that can help you navigate difficulties with grace and determination. Negative thinking often leads to paralysis, a state where you feel stuck, overwhelmed, and unable to move forward. This paralysis can stem from fear, self-doubt, or the sheer weight of a daunting task. When you're caught in this mental trap, it feels as though progress is impossible. And the more you dwell on these negative thoughts, the more difficult it becomes to take any meaningful action. The antidote to this is action. Taking even the smallest steps toward your goals can begin to break the hold that negative thinking has over you. Action, no matter how small, has a powerful way of shifting your mindset. Each step you take builds momentum and proves to yourself that you are capable of making progress. The act of moving forward, even in the face of uncertainty or fear, sends a message to your brain that you're not powerless. The simple process of doing something, whether it's organizing your workspace, sending an email, or completing a small task, creates a sense of accomplishment that directly counters the feelings of helplessness or doubt that negative thinking often fosters. Start with tiny, manageable tasks, especially when you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed. It's easy to become immobilized by the enormity of a big goal or project, but breaking it down into smaller, more digestible steps makes it much more manageable. Focus on the next immediate step rather than the entire process. For instance, if you're overwhelmed by a big project, take the time to break it down into individual tasks that are realistic and achievable. Completing one small task, no matter how insignificant it may seem, will shift your focus away from doubt and toward productivity. These small wins, while seemingly minor, are incredibly important. Each success, no matter how small, builds confidence and starts to reduce the grip of negativity. As you accumulate these little victories, they serve as evidence that you can make progress and that your fears of failure or inadequacy are unfounded. Over time, this gradual accumulation of success fosters a sense of capability and self-efficacy, making it easier to confront bigger challenges with a positive mindset. Moreover, taking action interrupts the cycle of rumination that often accompanies negative thinking. When you're stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, it's easy to become consumed by fear of failure, perfectionism, or feelings of inadequacy. But action breaks this cycle by shifting your focus from your thoughts to the task at hand. It pulls you out of your head and grounds you in the present moment, where your energy is directed toward doing rather than worrying. It's important to recognize that progress doesn't have to be linear or perfect. Some days the steps you take may be small, and that's okay. What matters is the consistency of taking action, even in small increments. Over time, these efforts will accumulate and the progress you make will become visible, reinforcing the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. In this way, action not only counters the paralysis of negative thinking, but also creates a self-sustaining cycle of momentum and growth. One of the main reasons we fall into negative thinking is the fear of failure. Failure often feels like a threat to our self-worth, leading us to view setbacks as personal deficiencies rather than as natural parts of the learning process. This fear can be so overwhelming that it stops us from taking risks, trying new things, or pursuing our goals with full commitment. But failure is not the end, it's an inevitable and essential part of growth. Every failure offers valuable lessons that can propel you forward if you allow it. The key to overcoming the fear of failure and its associated negative thoughts lies in how we choose to perceive it. Instead of viewing setbacks as evidence of inadequacy, reframe them as opportunities to learn and grow. This shift in mindset transforms failure from something to be feared into something that can actually benefit you. When you experience a setback, instead of internalizing it as a reflection of your abilities, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I improve next time? By approaching failure with curiosity rather than judgment, you turn it into a stepping stone toward future success. This reframing helps to strip failure of its power to feed negative thoughts. When failure is seen as feedback rather than a final judgment, it becomes a tool for improvement rather than a source of discouragement. Every mistake or misstep provides insight into what doesn't work and helps you refine your approach for the future. Each challenge overcome or lesson learned brings you one step closer to your goal, reinforcing the idea that progress is often built on the back of failure. Moreover, embracing failure as part of the journey helps to cultivate resilience. The more you learn to see failure as a temporary setback rather than a defining moment, the less it will affect your confidence and self-esteem. Instead of being consumed by negative thoughts and self-doubt, you become more focused on how to adapt and improve. This resilience is what ultimately enables long-term growth and success. Failure also offers a unique opportunity to build self-compassion. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to fall into a cycle of self-criticism. However, by recognizing that failure is something everyone experiences, you can shift your focus from judgment to self-compassion. Understanding that failure doesn't define you allows you to move forward with greater confidence and less fear. By seeing failure as feedback, you create a mindset where setbacks are no longer obstacles but part of the process of achieving your goals. This perspective not only diminishes the fear of failure, but also opens the door to continuous learning and improvement. It empowers you to take risks, try again, and keep moving forward, knowing that each failure brings you closer to success. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shifting your mindset from negative to positive. It acts as a counterbalance to the habitual focus on what's going wrong or what's lacking in life. By intentionally focusing on what you're grateful for, you begin to cultivate a mindset that naturally attracts more positive energy. Gratitude shifts your attention away from problems and complaints, directing it toward the good that already exists in your life. This simple yet profound practice can help break the cycle of negative thinking, creating space for more joy, contentment, and appreciation. One of the most effective ways to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a daily gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're thankful for. These don't have to be grand or life-changing events. Small moments of joy, like a kind word from a friend, the warmth of the sun, or a delicious meal, are just as valuable as larger accomplishments or milestones. The act of writing these things down reinforces your awareness of the good in your life, no matter how small, and helps train your brain to seek out positive experiences. Over time, this practice builds a habit of focusing on the positive aspects of your day, making it easier to see the good even when life feels challenging. As you continue to reflect on what you're grateful for, your brain begins to create new neural pathways that make positivity more accessible. This shift in focus not only improves your mood in the moment, but also makes you more resilient in the face of negativity. When negative thoughts arise, your practice of gratitude becomes a mental anchor, reminding you of the abundance and goodness in your life, even during difficult times. The beauty of gratitude is that it doesn't deny the challenges or hardships you may face, rather, it helps put them into perspective. Gratitude allows you to acknowledge difficulties while still appreciating the good things that coexist alongside them. This balanced perspective helps prevent negativity from taking over and keeps you grounded in the reality that life is filled with both ups and downs. By focusing on what you have, rather than what you lack, you shift from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance, which naturally leads to a more positive outlook. Furthermore, gratitude has a ripple effect. It not only changes your internal state, but also impacts the people around you. When you express gratitude toward others, it strengthens your relationships and fosters a sense of connection and appreciation. And gratitude can create a positive feedback loop, where the more you give thanks, the more you notice things to be thankful for, and the more others are drawn to your uplifting energy. As you make gratitude a regular part of your life, you'll begin to notice its transformative power. What starts as a simple exercise in appreciation gradually reshapes how you approach everyday life. Gratitude helps you build emotional resilience, making it easier to navigate challenges without being consumed by negative thoughts. It rewires your brain to focus on the good, enabling you to move through life with a greater sense of peace, positivity, and fulfillment.